Hi everybody, Michelle here from Quebec Cichlid. Today I'm going to show you my favorite algae eater for the African Cichlid Aquarium. Stay tuned! First things first, you're probably wondering what this fabulous t-shirt I'm wearing is. Well, this is the first t-shirt of my series of t-shirts that I will be selling in my Teespring store. If you want to sport this fabulous look and be twinsies with me, well, you can get the t-shirt in the link that's in the video description. So definitely go check that out. I've been doing YouTube for a little while and all the channels have their own t-shirt with their brand, but I wanted mine to be more than just Quebec Cichlid, my store. I wanted it to really speak out as to what we are. We are aquarists and we are, well, we're geeks as well. I mean, let's face it, if you're up to date in my videos, you're a cichlid geek just as much as I am. If cichlids are not your thing, there's also a fish geek shirt in this store as well. I'll be wearing it in my future videos. On Instagram, use hashtag cichlidgeek and hashtag fishgeek. And that is where we are going to be sporting our t-shirts. I also put all my fish pictures in there, so definitely go check out those hashtags. So back to the subject. My number one favorite algae eater for the African Cichlid Aquarium is the Ancistrus. This fish is originally from South America and in the Amazon River. It is one of the only algae eaters that can adapt to the African cichlids GH and pH, which are way higher than the ones in the Amazon River. They can also adapt to the African cichlids behavior, which, let's face it, is not as easygoing as most freshwater fish. Why I love them is really simple. Basically, at adult size, the male is 5 inches long. The female is even smaller, she is 4 inches long. And what's amazing about this fish is that the bigger it is, the more efficient it is as well. This is a refreshing change from the common pleco, which gets so big they can get up to 12 inches long and they get lazier by the inch. When they're adults, they produce more waste than they eat, so they're not really helping. Basically, why I love Ancistrus is because they are just ridiculously easy to keep. Ancistrus are compatible with most freshwater fish and inverts. They are not compatible with most freshwater plants as they will uproot them. They don't bother the anubias, the java ferns, as well as the Vallisneria, which are pretty much the only plants that do well in the African cichlids water parameters. Even then, Vallisneria is not the mbuna's best friend. Because the leaf is so long, the mbuna might see this as algae and they will gobble it all up. Ancistrus sp is the most common Ancistrus on the market. You can find them in brown and gold colors. I've also had some red and blotched ones, which were fabulous, but those are pretty rare. If you have African cichlids, absolutely, positively steer clear of the long fin Ancistrus. Those long fins will be eaten up by the end of the week, especially in the mbuna tank. When adding these fish to the African cichlid tank, be mindful of size. Of course, they're compatible, but if you put a tiny one with a huge Malawi predator, I mean, there are risks, right? I usually put Ancistrus about 2 inches in my 125-gallon peacock tank, and I've never really had any problems. And I've done it often because, well, when I have no more to sell, I usually sell those, so I have to put them in often. I really haven't had any losses in that aquarium. My trick is to, when I acclimate the fish, I take them with my net and I put them directly in a plant, an artificial plant. That way they're hidden. Once they finally come out, usually the fish, they'll just figure, oh, well, he's already been there, just didn't notice him. And they'll let him be. If your fish are particularly aggressive, you can also mix up some decors away from the plant to get them distracted in that area, and you can also close the lights. In their natural habitat, Ancistrus sp live in a neutral pH and with a very low GH. In the African cichlid tank, the pH is of 8.2 and above 300 ppm of GH. This being said, if you get one at your local fish store and you want to put him in an African cichlid tank, definitely drip acclimate them. In African cichlid tanks, the GH and the pH may vary a lot from one tank to the other, so we have to gradually adapt them to the new water parameters. And even in my store, I do it. In one tank, it might be 600 ppm of GH, and in the other one, 200. If I just transferred it directly, it'll stress the fish out. So I drip acclimate them, putting them directly in the African cichlid tank without acclimating or just by letting the bag float. It is too much of a drastic change. If you imported en citrus and they're stressed out, you're best off keeping them in a neutral pH with a low GH until they are stronger and then acclimating them to your African cichlid tank. What I do at my local fish store, since I am specialized in African cichlids, I have tropicals, but my main niche is African cichlids, hence the Cichlid Geek t-shirt. I have 2 aquariums with my Alcistrus for sale. I have one with tropical fish water parameters, and I have another with African cichlid water parameters. That way it makes it a lot easier for my African cichlid clients to just acclimate them directly to their tank. There's a lot less change. So we've just established that they acclimate very well to high pH and GH. But there are some water parameters that they are extremely sensitive about, and that is ammonia, nitrite, and nitrate. Ammonia, what it will do is just completely burn the fish. If ever the fish is in a tank with ammonia and it survives, it will have scars for the rest of its life. Ammonia also burns their genitals, meaning that they probably will never be able to breed. Nitrate is not toxic in low forms, but if ever your aquarium is constantly over 40 ppm of nitrate, your fish will eventually get sick. It's one of the first ones that will be affected by nitrate poisoning. If you do your water changes regularly every week and you have a well-cycled, stable filter, you shouldn't have any problems with these water parameters. If ever you have problems with these water parameters, one of my first videos is about this, so I'll link it in the video description and I'll try to put it right up here somewhere with YouTube magic. In the wild, this fish will feed off of algae and aufwuchs, which is a complex mixture of algae and a bunch of other bacteria. In the aquarium, they will feed off of the algae on your windows, on your decorations, and on your rocks, everything. They are the best algae eater. That is why we're talking about them today. If ever though there is not enough algae in your aquarium, well, then you're gonna have to feed them algae wafers, which are commercially available at your local fish store. Feed them once to twice a week. You don't need to feed them that often. They're pretty big pellets, so if you only have a small fish, cut it in half and feed it at night. Also add a bit of wood in the aquarium for the Alcistrus. Don't put a lot of aquarium wood because it lowers the pH. So we don't want that, but just a little bit doesn't change much. These fish are nocturnal, meaning that, well, you guessed it, they eat at night. During the day, they'll often be hidden in a little cave. So if you don't see them come out and work, don't think they're being lazy. They're just waiting for nighttime. And by at night, I don't just mean our night. I mean when the lights are out in the aquarium and they're in the dark. That's when they'll eat the most. In the end, Alcistrus SP are really a joy to keep. They keep your aquarium so clean. They are really the best, and they acclimate to almost every kind of aquarium. Just don't keep them in the planted aquarium or obviously the reef aquarium because it's not a saltwater fish. If you take good care of your aquarium and you implement regular maintenance habits, you check your nitrate, check your water parameters, you will be able to keep this fish for a long time and it'll have a long, happy life. So have you ever kept Alcistrus? Which kind did you keep? Do you have a video? You know how I love videos. I always go watch them. So post that right in the comments section. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, there's plenty more where that came from. Subscribe to my channel. I post a new video on every Thursday. You can also follow me on Facebook, on Instagram, and I have a great website where you can shop online and see all the fish I have for sale. New this week, actually not just Cichlid Geek, new this week are my plants, my tropical plants. I put them on the website. So you can buy them directly online and I ship them out through the mail. I ship throughout Canada. So get your mail order plants today. The link is right down there. And also, of course, the pièce de résistance. Actually, my plants are pretty cool. I'm really happy about that. I've been working a lot on it. But also the t-shirts. Get your t-shirt today and post hashtag Cichlid Geek or Fish Geek on Instagram and we will be twinsies, hooray! And if you come to my store wearing my t-shirt, well, we are definitely taking a selfie together. All right, so that's it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye!